Greetings to all our learners. Welcome to CEC lecture. Dear learners, the topic of analysis is social movements. We shall try to look at this topic with the special focus on advanced industrial societies and also draw a comparative contrast with the developing societies. In the lecture, we shall attempt to analyze the social movements, the different kinds, various stages of social movements, and with the special reference towards case studies, book references from the advanced industrial societies. As we delve in our erudition journey towards understanding social movements with special focus on advanced industrial societies, we shall also be comparing and contrasting issues, various aspects involved for social movements in both cases, advanced industrial societies as well as the developing societies. In the lecture, therefore, we shall try to look at the two important concepts, namely social movements and social change with reference to advanced industrial societies and developing societies. At the outset, let us understand that what do we mean by social movement? How does one define social movement? Social movement, dear learners, it signifies that it is a broad alliance of people. It comprises of, say, broad alliance of people, and the mechanism for guiding this broad alliance of people is that how it is connected through shared interests. The aim is very important to be understood, that is, social movements aim to stop or usher social change. As we are understanding the definition of social movements, one has to look at the collective aspect. One has to underline definite features of collectivity, namely that social movements are a type of group action. Social movements are large informal gatherings of individual or organizations, therefore, dear learners, that focus on specific political, economic or cultural issues. They carry out, resist or undo social change. Now, this is contingent upon the mandate, the key focus that social movements attempt to strive for. Let us now take some popular definitions presented by professors, academicians in order to elaborate on the idea of social movement. Charles Tilly, the American sociologist, political scientist and historian, defined social movements as, and we quote, taking it from online reference, social movements are a series of contentious performances, displays and campaigns by which ordinary people make collective claims on others. What is essential, dear learners, that as we are reading this definition of social movements presented by Charles Tilly, one has to understand that there is an important idea, namely that social movements are a means for people's participation in public politics. Social movements give the forum for the public to speak out for issues that concern them with reference to public affairs. Another important perspective to elaborate further on social movements comes from that of Sidney Tarrow. Sidney Tarrow, professor of political science and sociology, defines social movement as, and we quote, collective challenges to elites, authorities, other groups or cultural codes by people with common purposes and solidarity in sustained interactions with elites, opponents and authorities. As we try to understand this definition presented by Sidney Tarrow, very important aspect that social movements imply a degree of collectivity, and this degree of collectivity is built on common purposes, solidarity, sustained interactions in order to cater to the agenda that one opposes or attempts to support with respect to authorities, elites, other groups in the societal framework. As we are understanding social movements, dear learners, you must refer to this very important work, that is An Introduction to the Study of Social Movements. This is by Alan Turing. Now, as we try to read from this very interesting work by Alan Turing, namely that social sciences have an element of a specific mode of constructing social reality. Social movements, once again reading from this very important article, on the contrary, as Alan Turing points out, they were identified with the counterculture, the search for alternative forms of social and cultural life. And most important, this issue that Turing makes in the very first page of his work, that how is it possible to overcome the obvious prejudices which so often make discussions about social movements useless, because they inform us mainly about social opinions of some limited sectors of academia. The term social movements, as we are taking this very interesting journey towards understanding social movements, we must understand that it was introduced in 1848, long back by German sociologist Lawrence von Stien. Now, dear learners, as we are understanding social movements, it is very essential that with reference to advanced industrial societies as well as with reference to developing societies, a common idea of questions that we can draw from the cultural anthropologist David F. Arborell in order to understand different kinds of social movements. David Arborell points towards two questions to identify different kinds of social movements, and we are underlining these questions because when we are doing a comparative study with respect to advanced industrial societies as well as developing societies, both these questions help us in drawing out the different kinds or the typology of social movements. First question, who is the movement attempting to change? Second question, how much change is being advocated? Based on these two questions, David Arborell identifies four kinds of social movements. And once again, this typology of four types of social movements is indeed very significant for understanding the new dynamics and new issues that social movements both in advanced industrial societies as well as developing societies try to cater to. The first typology is that of the alternative, that is, they are at the individual level and they advocate for minor change. Second, redemptive, they are at the individual level and they advocate for radical changes. Third, reformative, they are broader group or societal level and advocate for minor changes. Fourth, revolutionary, the broader group or societal level, but they advocate for radical changes. Now, based on these four types of criteria, there are other criteria also that one must underline to understand different kinds of social movements. Let's take some of the important aspects, namely the scope, whether it is reformist or radical. Second, the type of change, innovative or conservative. Third, the targets, group focused or individual focus. Next, methods, violent or non-violent. And lastly, the range, global or local. What is essential here is that these ideas, namely scope, targets, methods, range, today are indeed very important aspects that one must take into account while understanding social movements both in advanced industrial societies as well as developing societies. Blomer, Moss and Tilly, their work tries to delve into different stages of social movements. Now, this is also very important for us to understand in order to understand that what causes the emergence of social movements, how it evolves, and whether it succeeds or it fails. Therefore, when we are looking at different stages of social movements, borrowing from Blomer, Moss and Tilly's work, that is, they emerge for a variety of reasons. Then they coalesce and develop a sense of coherence, namely in terms of membership, goals, ideals, and in the next stage, movements become generally bureaucratized by establishing their own set of rules and procedures. So, therefore, what we got that with reference to stages of a social movement, that they have a cycle, they follow a process, they emerge, they coalesce and bureaucratize, leading to their success or failure. Dear learners, as we are looking at the ideas of social movements, what we have to understand that the aspect that what causes social movements both with reference to advanced industrial societies, and we see it in a comparative perspective with respect to developing societies. Also, there are theories that give us references towards the causation. First is the relative deprivation, that is grievances of people who feel deprived of what they perceived as values to which they are entitled. That is the act of disposing or divesting of someone's dignity, recognition amongst others. So, what is essential to be seen here is that deprivation is relative. It is connected to or dependent on something else and not absolute when we try to look at it from a comparative scale as well. Then an alternative view, as we are trying to understand the causes of social movements, has been presented to us by Karl Polanyi. That is, one has to look at the relative differences from the vantage point of economic wealth. Another important perspective in order to underline the various reasons for social movement is that presented by the resource mobilization approach, which underlines that social movements are formed when people who share grievances are able to mobilize resources and take action. Now, dear learners, what could resources be? It could be knowledge, money, media, solidarity, legitimacy, labor, amongst others. But at the same time, what do critics point out? That there is too much emphasis on the perspective of resources by this theory. What is essential to be seen that when we are trying to talk about industrial society, with all the background reading that we have done with reference to various types, stages of social movements, reasons for emergence of social movements, in an industrial society, the focus is on industrialization and modernization. When we take reference to the work of Saint-Simon, what we get here is that the role of manufacturing industry, when we look at the time context of 18th century Europe, contrasted with the previous pre-industrial society and agrarian societies. What we see here is that there's advanced industrial societies have some important features. We now have a look at them, namely there is factory-based production, declining proportion of the population employed in agriculture, increases in the level of production, improvements in productivity, urbanization, improvements in consumption, provision of mass education, and achievements of widespread literacy. What we get here is that as we are trying to understand advanced industrial society, one has to understand that they are contrasted with traditional society. And secondly, that in present time, there is rampant use of technology to enable mass production. Similarly, when we are talking about developing societies, we take this definition from IGI-global.com, that is, localities which are characterized by low levels of economic and technological development. However, what we see here is that this idea, this typology of developing societies also today is witnessing change, and thereby when we are trying to compare and contrast advanced industrial societies and the developing societies with respect to social movements, today with the rampant use of technology emerging as a new currency of power and having a huge stake in national interest, technology indeed plays an important role. What is essential to be seen here is this distinction between social movement and social movement organizations. Both, what we are trying to say here is that social movement is an alliance of people, but a social movement organization, it signifies formally organized component of a social movement. Both, with reference to advanced industrial society and developing societies, there may be vagaries in terms of the degree of formalization of social movements organization. Social movements, when we see that how they give rise to counter movements also, which are aimed at stopping or propagating whatever change the initial social movement was advocating. Dear learners, it is important to underline the aspect of social change here. Social change implies an alteration in the structures, institutions, or maybe say practices of a society. Social movements occur when large group of individuals or say organization work either for or against change in social and political matters. According to Anthony Giddens, 4 domains of modern society in which social movements are active. What is essential here is that what Anthony Giddens writes in the present time, it applies both to advanced industrialists as well as the developing societies, namely political sphere, social movements and activism at the workplace, concerns for environment, because today issues of climate change, global warming, loss of biodiversity, it cuts across borders. Both the advanced industrial and developing societies are impacted by this new security threat. And the issues of peace. Today, peace is multidimensional because the idea of security also has witnessed change from the traditional perspective of being militarily secure to the new perspective of being secure and at peace of mind with reference to not only the external atmosphere but also for the domestic atmosphere, say health, ecology, technology, amongst others. Now, what is essential here is that in the present times, social movements indeed have acquired a modern tenor. By modern tenor, we understand that how, when we try to take reference to Karl Marx's perspective, that is the idea of bifurcation of the society on economic haves and economics haves not. Today, that struggle has been presented in a new format. Today, class is not the only aspect that is a cause of concern. Today, there are new concerns as we saw, like ecology, workplace, issue of capital flight, issue of technology. And in the present time, it is this technology, communication, wide dissemination of literature, new concerns for capital, for labor, for ecology, which are all related to the very rampant process of industrialization, process of urbanization in advanced industrial societies as well as in the developing societies. So, what we see here is that with changing nature and role of state in developing countries, it has had an impact on social movements. An important reference that we take here is the women's movement facing the reconfigured state. This work is from Cambridge University Press, 2003. What we see here is that when we look at developed societies, relationship between women's movement and state, say in West Europe and North America, the book tries to take that as a reference point. However, dear learners, what important aspect the book points out here is that since 1980s, both North America and Western Europe, which are examples of an advanced industrial society, somehow there has been this churning of debate of neoliberalism, which has an influence on the goals, mobilization, tactics, rhetoric of the women's movement, and this must be understood with reference to the national responsibilities of the state. Similarly, when we are trying to look at the developing societies from this critical perspective, an important book of reference that we take reference to is Beyond NGOization, the development of social movements in Central and Eastern Europe. The book is from Routledge, 2018. What we get here is that with the fall of the Berlin Wall, there was an aftermath which had debates on the outcomes of the transition process in post-communist societies. And therefore, this debate, namely the discourse on the post-communist social movement as contrast with the Western counterpart, the Western Europe, looking at the Eastern side, presents to us a wide view of how contentious action is needed in order to understand the varieties of strategies employed by collective actors operating in the context. Therefore, dear learners, as we understand social movements in advanced industrial societies, comparing and contrasting with the developing societies, it is essential for us to understand that social movements have a bearing on the context. Today, the context both in advanced industrial societies as well as in developing societies is witnessing change. Today, there are new aspects like ecology, gender equality, sustainable development, equity, inclusiveness, technology, which have a bearing on the need for change or on the need to oppose or support a particular aspect. Seen in this regard, social movements both in developing as well as advanced industrial societies exhibit huge dynamics. They present to us wider perspective, and one must delve into it for a comprehensive analysis of social movements in the contemporary times. We hope the lecture gave you significant insights for the topic that we are discussing. Thank you very much for being with us for the lecture.